but it's really called football. Soccer? The creators called it football. Soccer? You know, you play it with your feet. Reading between the headlines. Soccer? But it's really called football. Soccer? Hello and welcome back to the show. Reading between the headlines, ever hear of it? I'm Asaf Nisim. I will be hosting you today. And I don't know if you noticed my buddy over here, Daniel Stock. He will also be joining us. Hey, Daniel.
Hello, it's wonderful to be back. We have a very winnable fixture coming up against Fulham
True.
tomorrow, and
Oh, that's the word. Those are the words you're going with. Winnable.
I,
That's
I
as optimistic as I've ever heard you, Daniel. Winnable.
I'm trying a new thing out. I'm trying to stay a little more positive, but you know my prediction from last week for what was
Yeah,
it?
you
The
were.
Brighton was it Brighton?
No. You didn't predict Brighton actually because we did get well against Brighton. You
You're
predicted
right. It
the
was
match before,
right the
and you were.
weekend.
I mean, you predicted 2-0
Bournemouth.
loss to Chelsea, and easily could have been 2-0 loss. So, but 1-0. That I mean, the loss is the
Or no,
loss.
it wasn't even Bournemouth. Who did we? Villa. Sorry, it was
Villa, yeah.
Villa.
No, oh yeah, but right, Villa. But yeah, and we could talk about Villa. Villa's I mean, hats off to the Villa support and to the Villa team, the whole club, because things seem to be going really well there. Good job, Unai Emery. Good job. The whole club. I mean, whoever's getting their players. But yes, we have a winnable fixture. Let's call it winnable. Let's keep with that spirit. And just thanks for coming back, Daniel. Always great to see you. Makes my job a lot easier having such a stunning and brave and knowledgeable co-host for the show. So thank you again for that. And just a little bit of housekeeping. I don't have the video here. Or we'll keep that for another time. But I did make up for my birthday. Yeah, I could show that actually. I have the video here. Yeah, you know what?
I haven't even seen it, but
You
I was
haven't seen it.
obviously
Let's
there.
see what happens. Honestly, yeah. Let me just send it to myself, right? Oh, yeah. I'll do that. And
yes.
it was very funny. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting. Got a little bit of a reaction out of Daniel, putting him on the spot at soccer, and giving him a little birthday gift because I had messed up and on air told him that I was going to wish him a happy birthday on the day of, and that I wasn't going to wish it to him on air, because I knew I was going to wish it to him on the day of. And unfortunately, I failed that. But I tried to make it up. Here we go. Here's the.
Who is that?
Oh, let's put this video up behind us. We'll do that, and I'll put us on a little tiny. There we go. Oh, let me move these so we're opposite. It's a little last minute. What's going on here? I don't know. Why is that there? Yeah. I wonder if you'll be able to hear this. Probably not.
It's fine, I'm just saying.
No, it's all good. Can you hear?
Is that? Oh, that's Ski.
Yeah, no, that's Preb.
Yeah.
Well, look who it is, Mr. Danielson. Hey, can you hear Daniel?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, great. Hey, you put me on blast on stream. I'm putting you on blast right now. Happy birthday.
Oh, much appreciated.
I missed your birthday.
You did.
So there you go.
After you publicly mentioned you for some reason.
Go ahead, open it up.
Ooh,
I don't know if you have any of these.
Oh, some team merch.
There you go.
Sweet deal, Saf. Sweet deal.
What's that? That whole thing about making shirts for the show was a lie.
Yes, Saf. In this moment, I figured it out.
Anyway,
nice.
happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to put you on blast on the show in the future. Here we are.
I don't mind.
All right, well, you didn't react that extremely anyway, but it'll still be good. You know what? That'll be the joke. Look at this kid. So straight-faced. Yeah, no, it was a good
Did you
reaction.
expect anything less?
No, of course not. It was a good reaction. Let's give Dan a little bit of credit on that one. Yeah. So he's 1 year older, 1 year wiser.
I don't know about that, but
the first part.
definitely older, yeah. On paper, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so as you can see behind us, well, you can see this. You've been able to see this, right? Let's yeah, I'll leave us there. I'll move us next to each other. Yeah, the form has not been great, but we did have a little bit of light in the at the end of the tunnel, right? The end of the tunnel being the end of that Brighton game, perhaps. Um, it may not be the Premier League, but it is a top team in the Premier League right now.
I mean, they're down bad this last week,
That's
but
true, but they were in third place at the time, and we were placed at 14th. And at the end of the day, it's just a quality side. You're seeing their quality. You're seeing the quality of their manager. But yeah, Aston Villa beat them too, right? Wasn't it Villa? Villa took them out. Yep.
6-1.
Yeah, that was destructive. But that was every bit as much of a testament to Villa as it was for Brighton, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, going into the match, you would have figured it would have been a much closer fixture than the way it ended up.
Mm-hmm.
But as I texted you, that could happen to any team,
Yeah.
right? You make a few mistakes, you're just a little loose with your finishing, and the other team's going to take advantage. And as you can see, Ollie Watkins picked up his hat trick after kicking off his season with a goal
Sensational.
against us last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He's
And he's had
clearly
goals. He's one of those 5-goal players, or what was it, 4-goal players that they've
he's
got?
definitely on 4 now. No, you don't think he was because he
Yeah.
hadn't scored up until us against last weekend.
No, it was that they had 5 players with 2 goals, right? And he was one of in the league. Anyway, they have a lot of goal scorers, and Ollie Watkins probably the best one of them. So,
Well, you'd hope so. He plays
yeah.
through the middle, right? He's their
Right.
center forward.
Yeah. But and Brighton are not the team that are going to sit back after conceding, right? They're the team that's going to still come at you. They're going to still play their football. They are a little, into their own shit, if you will. I mean, they've developed a reputation these last few years that they're going to play good football. They're going to play passing football, and that's just the type of club and type of team that they are. And so, I thought you'd think they probably kept thinking that they were going to give. I watched the game, actually. It was a good one. They kept trying to go for it, and Aston Villa kept just cutting them open. Yeah. Anyway, so that said, the Brighton victory happened before that, so they were still on a winning momentum when we defeated them. And so hopefully that did something for the team, right? Usually does, can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, what did you think about that game anyway? Did you I found it very boring, actually. I thought it was a very boring game.
Talking about
overall.
the midweek?
Yeah, I'm talking about the midweek game.
I
Against
haven't
Brighton.
really caught, but like I said, at the time I was at work. I didn't really catch much of it.
Right.
I saw that Jackson's second goal got disallowed for offside.
Yeah.
He had the first, obviously, which, I was wondering, I specifically didn't know if he could serve his suspension in the cup, but evidently not.
Yeah, you had
So
asked that. Yeah.
So I guess he'll miss out against Fulham tomorrow. And who else was Gusto,
Gusto's
right?
on suspension, but a red. That's the distinction, right? The distinction was that yellow cards don't carry over in the cup, but they do carry. But red cards do carry over across all those both of those competitions. I don't know why that distinction is made, but it is between yellow and reds. Yellows don't. And so, yeah, Gusto, that will have counted towards Gusto, but he's still not going to be in, right? He's still going to be suspended for this next match. And it's a big loss, I think. I think that's why you're seeing all that funky stuff at the back. It's not so funky having Colwell at left back, but now Chilwell is out, which we'll talk about too. But we've got some trouble. Although, look at this, Cucurella, top FOTMob scorer. I think you saw his experience and class in that game. You didn't watch it, but I think FOTMob recognized it, and And I think people will have recognized this guy is legit. He's I would put money on Cucurella starting the next match. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if Chilwell's out, I mean, you're literally out of, and Gusto's out, you're
Yeah.
out of players to play. You have to play Cucurella.
Yeah. And we didn't see Silva on the bench even in that last match. I hope he's back around. I hope nobody said anything about him, so it seems like he's still in contention, right?
Right.
So that's that. I mean, we should look at the maybe the injuries to Chelsea.
It's a weekly update on how all of our players are out for months.
Yeah, right. So okay, I did watch the pre-match. Did you watch the pre-match with Pochettino by any chance?
For this upcoming?
Yeah,
No, I have not seen that.
could go through that. If you can hear it, especially, that would be great. Man, he's like, I gotta say this about Poch. I feel like he gets drawn in on. He's not. Maybe it's the language thing. Not that he doesn't speak English great. He does, but like, I feel like he gets drawn in on some of the what the journalists ask.
The last thing I heard from Coach was about Madueke.
The game.
Can you hear that?
Well, it's not playing at the moment,
Well,
so I
yes.
don't know.
I think is.
And no.
Yes, we are really sad about the.
And you
the
don't hear
news
it, yeah.
about Ben.
Interesting. Okay.
At least give me subtitles or something.
Yeah, I could give you subtitles. Actually, that's a good idea.
Time is difficult to know now. It's only 2 days, no, less than 2 days that
Might even
happened.
speed it up.
We need to assess in the next few days, and the doctor will.
How fast do you think I can read?
The club will communicate.
This is bad. We're not doing this. Forget it. We'll read the injuries off of here, which it seems to be up to date. The only thing is I wanted to get a little bit of a clue on Badiashile, what's going on there.
He could be one to start on the left side as well. He's a left-footed player.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was thinking. I mean, I don't think he's gonna. Well, yeah, I think you're gonna see Colwell at left back, right? And actually, we can even. I mean, it might be worth figuring out what's going on, because at least in the back we're gonna have trouble. So I think you're gonna see Colwell at left back. We can continue this later, but we're gonna be back to Silva. It's gonna be Colwell. Actually, did we play a 5 in the last match? Oh, so much to do.
I guess Ian Matson could also play at left back in a pinch.
Right.
I guess that was his position.
Yeah, he probably will be playing over there. Well, that was that one.
The thing is, you'd probably prefer Colwell at left back to Disasi at right back if you had to push one of the center backs out to fullback.
Yeah. Although I would prefer Disasi at right back only because he's less of a liability over there. Disasi, I don't trust him yet, so there's that. But it'll actually be interesting to see who plays on the left, either Cucurella or Colwell. But what I think is you're going to see Cucurella at right back, and you're going to see Colwell on the left. Yeah, and then you're going to see Silva and Disasi again. That's what I think. That's my thought.
Very well could go that way.
And you know, we've been all right defensively. Although that could shake things up, right? We've been all right, but that could shake things up. But the big news basically there is Chilwell injured, so it's really getting thin now. It's really getting thin. Our choices on the roster. I wonder if they have a predicted lineup over here. They haven't been doing it lately.
Well, I mean, it is
Oh,
tomorrow.
here we go. Here we go. Predicted lineup on FOTMob. Yep. Oh, interesting. Cucurella on the right. Cucurella on the right. Cola left. Silva Disasi. Yeah. Looks about right to me. Because he was talking actually in the pre-match presser. Pochettino had mentioned maybe we don't play with a striker. Although that's a little because I don't think he's probably gonna say Broja isn't fit.
He's
Right?
not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
playing Sterling through the middle.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. Sterling has played through the middle for City even.
A player that probably wants to come deeper to get touches and then dribble through the midfield.
Yeah, that too. And maybe we kind of
Who's going to get ahead of him? You know, is Mudryk going to make a killer run? Cole Palmer, we haven't seen so much of him yet. He only got his first start against Brighton, right?
yeah, I mean, yes. And I'm gonna just right then and there I'm gonna say Cole Palmer needs to start. In my
Yeah, I
opinion.
mean,
He needs to start just from whatever little bit we've seen from Cole. He's shown that he is hungry, he's spicy, he's energetic, he's motivated, and he's got the quality. Period. He's got quality. Mudryk, you've seen a little bit from him, but I actually wanted to ask you that. It's clear that Pochettino's trying to get the most out of Mudryk, and he's starting him. There are other options, not a lot, but there are other options. Do you think he starts again based on? Do you think he starts again, and do you think he should start again?
against Fulham specifically, I mean, he'll probably start. He's been getting a lot of minutes. I think he started against Villa, right?
Yeah, he did. He started the last 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. So
I mean, who would you start out on the left?
let's see.
Chilwell's injured, who was playing up there
Right.
before that, in the first couple of games when we decided that was a good idea, which evidently it was not. Cucurella is already tied up. He's going to be either playing further back on the left or right side, most likely.
Yeah.
Sterling has to play through the middle now because, our main center forward likes mouthing off to the referee.
Haven't
Like
I could
who?
see Matson being played. He's gonna play Matson.
Well,
But
Maatsen was playing more of a 10, right, for the Brighton match, is at least what I saw in the lineup. I don't know what actually happened in the game.
was he up? I mean, he was up there. He's been playing Matson up. I probably just can't put if Broja was fit, I would just play him. I would just play him. Forget it. But I think we're probably going to see I think it's just going to be Sterling. It's got to be Mudryk, I guess. But not because I guess we don't have any real other real options. I mean, David De Souza, they kind of talked about him for a little bit, but have we even seen him on the bench? I'm not sure.
I don't even know who that is.
De Souza, he played. He's a young guy. He's like 19 or something. Who was on the bench for Brighton? Let's see. This is the substitutes, bench and substitute players. So
If he can't even get in a cup game against Brighton, I don't know that this guy
yeah,
is coming on against Fulham.
man, the bench was looking thin. Look at this, and I remember this now. The bench for Brighton was. I mean, granted, it's a cup game, but it's Brighton. Academy players. I don't know these guys. Alex Matos, Alfie Gilchrist, Josh Brooking. I feel like I've seen him before, but I mean, and look at this. Yeah. Okay, so it's real thin. Probably gonna see Mudryk again. Although, honestly, look at this lineup. Caicedo played. Ugo Chukwu played. And yeah, they were pretty decent. Relatively the way that we've been playing. But Gallagher is going to come in here, and we could potentially play like a 4-4-2 situation. And I mean, I don't think we've played really much of a 4-4-2
How do you figure?
just because I think if Gallagher slides in, then you play Sterling and oh, right, Jackson is
Yeah.
out.
You
Jackson
need a
is out.
second striker for the 4-4-2.
Yeah. I was thinking Jackson. I had already forgotten. Yeah. But I would go with this lineup. Oh no, but no Jackson, right? With Sterling and Gallagher replacing Jackson and Mudryk. Just based on form, based on who I think is like more in the zone at the moment. Obviously, that's a little overloading the midfield, but I feel like I'd almost rather see Gallagher up higher than Mudryk in those positions.
Well, which one of them is more likely to score a goal? I just feel like neither of
Gallagher.
them are particularly
Who's
good
scored
in front of
more
goal.
goals in the Premier League in their career?
Well, has Mudryk ever scored a goal in the Premier League? I
Nope.
don't
That's my point. Conor
like.
Gallagher has not only did he play like a 10 sort of for Crystal Palace, I mean at times I didn't watch every Palace game, but I know he was involved always up top. So maybe he was kind of an 8, maybe he was kind of a 10. But he scored goals and he scored I was going to say fabulous goals, like real like golazos and stuff. So I felt that Gallagher can score at any time. He really can. You can just
Yeah,
decide.
unless he's 6 yards out and we need him to score, then he won't score.
Then he won't score. But yeah, so I would rather not. I would rather, but I don't. I think that as far as balance goes, then I'm really not going to win that ticket. But it's just on player form. I would. I look at this even. I mean, Mudryk got a 7.1 on 5. This game was so boring. I don't know how any of these players are really, besides Cole and Jackson. I don't. It was not compelling. It was not compelling.
I think now is a good time to shift and look towards Fulham. Let's see where they are in the
Yeah.
table and how they've
Right.
started out this campaign.
It's a good idea, my friend. That's why you're here. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Daniel.
By the way, that is a sweet jacket you got me. Much appreciated.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm so glad. Yeah, it looked good to me.
It did.
Yeah,
did
because
look
it had
good.
the hood on it too, and I was like, I wanted to get. Yeah, I don't like the regular ones without the hood, but yeah, nice. Thanks, man. All right, so here's the form. I mean, when you look at this at a glance, that's actually fairly good. They are above us in the table too. Let's not forget.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, yeah. They're still for Fulham, this is like about not terrible. And if you look at the last 5 games here, you see Norwich, they won. Crystal Palace, they didn't lose. Luton, it's Luton, but they won. Man City, expecting a loss there. And actually probably even expecting this kind of a loss, 5-1.
Yeah.
But Tottenham, 1-1. Was that it? Yeah, it was at Craven Cottage. Okay. But
It was in the cup though.
yeah, whatever it is, it doesn't right. So they probably I'm sure that Tottenham didn't start their first team. Like, yeah. Yeah. And they've got So they definitely started their B-ish team. Yeah. But still and actually this form looks good to me. That's for Fulham not a bad at a glance. So while you say winnable, I actually think this Fulham team, I mean, if you look at the squad, if you look who's actually playing, they have quality. They have serious quality.
Well, obviously Williams is still hanging around, and at
Exactly.
his advanced age, he's still a bit of a baller, and that's why I'm concerned
Yeah.
about who's going to be playing defense on the right side. Like, I can't trust Disasi to track a run from Willian.
No.
You
He'll
know,
get
like
cut up. I don't believe that. Yeah.
I couldn't
That would work. That would not work.
advocate for that matchup.
Yeah.
But like you say I mean, yeah, they're not bad players. They're all like established Premier League players. I'm just moving in a little closer so I can actually look
Yeah,
at the.
I can get in here.
Oh, that makes it literally 100 times easier. Like that Vinicius guy, like he's not good, but
I
like he's
mean,
also not terrible. Like he scores professional goals.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And this is actually not even all of their first team. Um, you've got they have Andreas Pereira there, the Man United player.
Yep.
Um, they have this guy Anthony Robinson, who's
The
an
American.
American international. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, and
Yes.
he is absolutely rapid, rapid. This kid
Yes.
is
Yes, but
insane.
his service sucks though. So whatever.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I see a lot of danger in this team. Let's look at actually the last league game because this was a cup game. The last league game against Palace. I mean, oh, sorry, that's Crystal Palace, right? Bobby Reed, Pereira, and Willian, and Jimenez up top. I mean,
Is that
this is a
Raul Jimenez?
yeah, it is. This is way better than our attacking force. I mean, really, really, this is and Jimenez is one of those strikers who he's a natural striker, very natural striker. He's dangerous, and they have Leno in goal. And there you go, Robinson, another American Ream. So the two Americans
Ream.
here. Yep. Issa Diop, established Premier League defender.
Is that actually the
played
right
for-
Diop? Click
Yeah,
his
I
name
think he
for
played
me.
from West Ham.
Click
right?
it.
Oops.
I don't doubt it, but I'm doubting.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah. No.
Look at you
Wait.
knowing a random Fulham center back.
Dude, I know
I'm
some things.
impressed.
I know some things, all right, bro? But oh, he's legit. Look, yeah, he played for West Ham for 4 years.
Okay, that doesn't make him legit, by the way, just an FYI.
No, but he's a seasoned, big, strong Premier League defender, and surrounded by Ream's not the greatest center back either, but
People say he's a pretty good defender, right? Like
I think he's okay. I've seen him. Come on, he's not great.
He's pretty good, man. I
The
rate
thing
Tim
is,
Ream.
I rate him because of his experience. He's a smart center back. He's not the quickest. I mean, you don't really expect your center backs generally to be that quick, but he's smart. He's seasoned. He's a veteran. He probably has a good understanding with Robinson. I think probably Robinson, is he starting for the national team these days?
They both were, to my knowledge.
Yeah. So this is a lot of danger. This is a lot of danger. And I actually rate Bobby Reed as well. I rate Bobby Reed as well. He's got some on the ball pace. He's a really good winger.
I agree with you,
yeah.
but I think the consensus is that all these guys are a bit mediocre. No one's fighting to get these guys in their team. You know? Like, none of these guys are worth anything.
Well, I mean, on the day, this is the thing with these guys, right? It's like if you're a 35-year-old player, what is he, 36 even, William?
Like, all these guys are, like, so old.
No, that's not all of them. First of all, Tim Ream, old.
Tim Ream's very
old. Yeah.
Very old.
Yeah.
That Palhinha guy,
is he old? He's not even. Didn't even start that. He's not going to start over Jimenez.
That's Vinicius, whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah.
That guy's probably like 34 too. But
Paulinho, yeah, Paulinho. I don't even
he's the
know
midfielder.
him. Yeah.
I don't know how old that guy is, but he's probably old.
Let's see. I'll tell you now. 28. He's not old.
You're right. That's not too old.
So, but that's what I was gonna say. Like, first of all, Willian didn't start last game. Neither did Pereira. Neither did Jimenez. So they're fresh. Neither did Robinson. So they're all fresh. And I think that's. I mean, I can't say that that's the plan, but when you have these fresh, even if they're older, if they haven't played in a couple games, they can give you the same game that like a young player or close to it that a young player can give. It's more about the recovery when you're older. It really is. So I mean, some players like Aaron Lennon, they're gonna keep their pace. Other players like Wayne Rooney, the second they hit 29, what?
Come on, that's a very interesting name to just
Well, just because he
mention
was
in passing.
still fast as hell, like playing for Spurs, and he eventually played what for Burnley or West Ham or something. He played for a bunch of different teams. He was like getting thrown around a little bit towards the end of his career,
Gosh,
but he was like 38 years old and he was still like super fast and tough to handle. You don't remember that?
I do, but I'm just saying that guy's like so irrelevant to like he's the most irrelevant person
But
that's
that's
ever
my
been
point.
mentioned on this show.
All I'm saying is that these old guys can put in a shift, especially on the day. They're hyped up for Chelsea. This is a big game. Williams coming back to. Is it at the Bridge? No, it's probably at Craven Cottage, isn't it?
Probably at Cottage, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's at the Cottage. At the old Cottage. It's a derby. Like that's when players turn up. That's when these players, Willian. I almost guarantee you. I hope Willian gets suffocated. Not literally, but like in this game, just stuffed because I can't let him start. Once he starts flowing, he could be a real problem. He really could, especially
Yeah.
as you said on that right hand side. If you know, he could be a real handful. Cutting in, we didn't really play him there that much. I feel like we didn't play him there enough cutting in on because we had other players like Hazard and other players that we
William
wanted.
mostly played on the right side for us, I
Exactly.
think.
So when you do that, you're more of like a
Cross
service.
first.
Yeah, exactly. Like a service winger rather than cutting in. But Willian just, I think when he had more freedom, like he came from, was it Makhachkala? Some Makhachkala.
What are you saying right now?
Basel. No, what he played for another team, a smaller European team, either Makhachkala or I think Basel. For when he played against us, and he had a little more freedom. When he had more freedom to cut in from the left, he's a lot more dangerous because he's just so skilled on the ball, and he's got such a great left and a great right that it's he becomes more dangerous when he can cut in and fire from the left. But again, as you
Yes.
said, he's older.
You're absolutely right though. He went from Shakhtar to
Shakhtar, yeah.
no, but then he went to Mahachkala or whatever you said,
Okay, yeah.
and then to Chelsea. He actually had
Yeah.
339 appearances for Chelsea. You know that?
He's not one of those players that you think did, but when you think about it for like a second longer, like, yeah, he really was at the club a while.
Yeah, from 13 to 2020.
Yeah, that's
339 appearances, 63 goals.
respect, man. I'm glad it didn't work out at Arsenal, honestly, because I hate it. Like I love it when players like Giroud who don't have a great time at Arsenal come to Chelsea and like, what? Did we win the Champions League? Probably won the Premier League with him. And then no, not the Champions League because he had left, right? Havertz was in. Did he get a medal? Oh my God.
Giroud?
Yeah, I'm really showing my.
You'd have to look it up. I
Oh
don't
my
think he did though.
gosh. All right. Come on. Okay, he left in 2021. No, he didn't. Oh, let's look this up. Chelsea Champions League winning squad. Oh, Giroud was in it. I'm wrong. There you go. This is cool.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I feel like
Yeah. He was on the bench. He didn't start, but
he had a couple big goals leading up to it, didn't he?
he's a clutch player. That's the whole point. So it really warms my heart that he came to Chelsea from Arsenal and literally wins the Champions League. I mean, I love when that. And Fabregas, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's one of those undescribable things. Like it's like watching the team you hate lose in the league. It's just another little flavor of joy that you get as a fan of this league. It's seeing players that were stalwarts in other teams come to your team and do way better than they did like achieve more. So that's why I was happy. I was trying to get to the point, which I'm glad that Willian didn't really do well at Arsenal, because then the inverse would have been the case, and I'm not a big fan of that. So, no, you don't.
I'm following you. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Oh, look at that, Gilmore,
You
Billy
don't think
Gilmore. Yeah,
you
sorry.
don't think I laugh every time Kai Havertz does terrible at Arsenal?
Yeah, to be fair, you didn't think he did very well at Chelsea. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I didn't want him to
yeah.
succeed at Arsenal. And fair enough, right? He scores the
Right.
penalty on the weekend this weekend, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Sure.
He still sucks.
But that was like a charity. Let's get this
Yeah,
kid
that was
going.
literally a charity, like
Yeah.
100%. They're like, all right, Kai, you
Like
can
he
do
doesn't
it.
take the penalties. Like Odegaard already scored a penalty, so they were just
Right.
like, let's just give this penalty to Havertz.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll spark something in this German. Yeah. But so yeah, again, Fulham is really, why do you say winnable in the end? Like, why is this? I mean, why is this more winnable than another match? We should have won against Forest. We should have won against Villa.
They're just, like I said, Fulham is like such a, they can beat any team in the league on any day. I'll tell you that much. Fulham, right? The way they play, they're going to defend, and Willian can have a moment of magic, or they can get a cross in and score a header, right? They can always score off set pieces and crosses, and they'll defend. So they're that kind of team which annoyingly can beat you 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
But they're kind of mediocre. Like, they don't have a superstar. Like Willian is not a superstar, right? That's not. No one is going to say at the age of whatever he is, 34 or older, that he's a superstar. Like Jimenez is definitely on the down in his career.
You'd
Like
say so?
he's 32 now,
Yeah, I guess so.
and after his head injury at Wolves, I don't think he ever really got back to form. Pull up. Has he scored this season?
That's a good question.
I
No,
don't know because I
0
literally don't
goals.
follow him.
Oh no,
Fulham, yeah.
that might have been in this
Just in this match. Yeah.
Let's find out. No, he's got 0 goals. Wow, he's played 456 minutes without a goal.
Yeah, so like he's
Okay.
not particularly sharp at the moment. I don't know how many big chances he's gotten.
That's a
So,
fair point. Yeah, like he was actually when I look at that lineup at Fulham, my first thought is, ugh, that could be trouble. Jimenez seems to score goal, but I guess not this season. But is he a big game player? He kind of seems like a big game player. Is he a big game player? Is he going to come here and just like break the seal? I feel like that happens all the freaking time with Chelsea. Like Arsenal, remember? They were sucking. They were the worst team on the planet, maybe. They were so bad. And then they come to the bridge and they beat us like 5-3 or whatever the hell it was. And I don't even remember when this was. It was a couple seasons ago. And it turned everything around for them. Is this going to happen?
Like, that seems to happen to all the teams that I follow, and it doesn't matter which sport. My teams just always decide to lose to teams that are on like a 37-game losing streak. Like my team's always the team to lose to them at home.
Yeah. Well, that could be the case. Raul Jimenez might be able to turn around his terrible, terrible form.
I don't know. He's like one of those guys that people will say is over or underrated rather, but I feel like he's overrated. If you look at his goal scoring record for Wolves, which flashed on the screen a few times, it looks like 40 goals in about 120 plus appearances. That's 1 in every 3. That's good.
That's really not bad for a lower mid-table team. Like,
yeah, but like it's also not great. Like, what is that? That's probably like four seasons. That's 10 goals a season.
Yeah. I think most would consider that a prolific lower to mid-table goal scorer.
Hey, to Chelsea, man, our lead scorer was Kai Havertz with like 7 or 8 last season. So props to Jimenez. He's clearly doing something right.
Beating that. But the fact, I mean, Chelsea we've had trouble getting strikers that fit, that work for us, and so it's just I feel like we've had many seasons with multiple just goals spread across the team, just trying to get goals from different places, which is not good. If that happens, that's great. Your team is doing well, but like in terms of maybe cohesively, but like you're getting various types of players in goal scoring positions. But you need that striker. We don't need to go on about that. But I mean, if right now, as a Chelsea supporter, I would take Jimenez. I would take him tomorrow. Yes, I would.
I wouldn't.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't. Like,
maybe
he's
you don't.
getting older. He's probably a step slower than he was before.
It's not like
He
he
was
was
never.
all about the speed anyway.
That's my point. But he's like never particularly great. Like he's just whatever, right? Like he deserved to be in the league, but I'm not going out of my way to get this guy in the team,
So okay,
especially the way this team plays. It's just and okay. So outside of Jimenez, like they just have a bunch of guys that look like play more defensive midfield. Pereira's a Man United reject. Like
but they saw something in him in the first place, right?
they're Fulham. They just take the scraps they can get.
And they've got some pretty darn good scraps here. Iwobi, I think, is good. Bobby Reed.
Man, you just love to hype up mediocre players. This is your jam. This is your bread and butter,
No,
Assad.
it's the expectation. It's what I'm saying. Like, if you're Man United, yeah, Pereira maybe is not starting anymore. He's on the bench, but he could be on the bench. And if you have a top tier, if you have a like a first team, like a starting 11 full of Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea bench players, and with a couple of other players like young, like Harry Wilson. I don't know how old he is now, but I actually really like Harry Wilson. He's got something a little bit different up front. He's tricky. He's quick. And maybe as he's getting older, he's getting a little stronger because he's probably always been a little bit weak physically. But I think that if you have a starting 11 that's full of a lot of bench top tier team players, that's not bad. That's what you call a pretty decent team. And again, these players could blow. That's what you get with some of these players. This, at least, even if they were former sort of superstars. I'm not saying all these guys are superstars, but I would
There's
say
one
Willian is
guy that was
probably.
arguably even a good player. Willian was good
Yes.
in his prime, but now he's 36, and everyone else was like, you don't even like the average. The average league watcher is like, who's that? I don't even know who that
Willian?
is.
Really?
No, not Willian. The
Oh,
rest of the squad. I
right.
said the other
Yeah.
10 guys on the
Probably.
field.
Probably. But again, bench players for other teams, for other top teams. And William is arguably just like a guy. He's just that X factor that you never know. Maybe one day he's going to show up and win the game for you. He did that well into his 30s for us. So he could just decide, okay, I'm going to score a free kick now, and then I'm going to annihilate these defenders and just rip them apart. And it could just happen. And so that's what you get with that sort of a player. But again, so and then you have the quality to like hold the team up, which is why they're not like against maybe against City, but it's not like they're giving up all that many goals. Like their defense has been, I mean, 10 is not great, but United have given up more goals in well, they've had more games. But it's just not
Also,
that bad if
United
you look
doesn't.
at the top of the league.
United plays. They don't put 10 behind the ball or 11 behind the
Right.
ball. United is always looking to play out. And they concede probably from overplaying.
I think Marco
Unlike
Silva
Fulham.
also does a little bit more, I think the that's another thing that we didn't mention is that they have a really seasoned Premier League manager right now. At this point, he is pretty seasoned, Marco Silva. And I think I think we're gonna, if let's put it this way, if we win against Fulham away at Craven Cottage, that will be meaningful to me.
That's sad. That's where the club is right now. It's very sad.
No, sure, yeah, that's probably true. That is pretty sad. You can call that
Um,
sad.
but yeah, no, like I think that would show some character if the boys showed up to Craven Cottage and got a result. Something that we haven't really been doing. Obviously, we won in the cup against Brighton this last week.
Mhm.
However, before that, we got dogged on a red card at Villa that really,
BS red card.
changed the direction the game was going. And of course, Ollie Watkins. Yeah, I don't know how he's scoring from that angle. It was a bit ridiculous, but good for him.
Yep.
He's a good finisher, a good player, a quality forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't disagree that it would be meaningful, right?
Okay,
Like
so
that's
there you
that's
go.
where we are. And until we get Nkunku back, I don't really expect to really win much. I just don't see goals from my prediction, what we'll get to at some point,
Yeah.
is that I see a 1-0 victory for Chelsea on a penalty, and that's the only way we're going to score. I don't see us scoring from open play.
Who wins
I
it?
don't. Like I said, I think it's Chelsea. Oh, who wins the penalty?
Yeah.
Probably Sterling. He's the only guy that, like, maybe
Yeah.
Modric could as well if he made a run into the box. But Cole Palmer, if he plays too, he's
Mhm.
got some quick, shifty feet. But
He just
you
doesn't
you
get in the box that much, Palmer.
right,
He could probably
he
do that.
stays on the edge of the box,
Yeah.
right, and he floats around. So the
Yeah.
most likely, just based on reason, would be Sterling, right?
Could be
He's
a
the guy
handball
that's
too. Could be a handball. Could see a handball. I
That's
could
true.
I could see
You
Team
know, the
Ray
way
giving one.
the way that the refereeing, don't even get us started on the refereeing situation going on in the Premier League at the moment. It's just absolutely shocking. Poor
Yeah,
Liverpool.
I tend to think like as a former referee, like I tend to think that given what we've seen, especially um most recently, the one against which one was it? Oh yeah, Liverpool against Tottenham, the red card they got. And
Well, the offside. Did you hear what happened with the offside on the goal, Diaz's goal?
I don't know. No, go on.
So
Remind
I
me.
don't. I have to look into this, but this is what I've heard. And
Yeah.
again, it should be fact checked. So take this with a grain of salt. But on the on-field decision for the goal, for Diaz's goal, when they just went a man down, Diaz goes through on goal and then a beautiful finish into the side netting. So the on-field call is offside,
Right.
but the VAR referee thought the call on the field was a goal, so he just did a quick check to see that he thought he was checking to see that he was onside, and he agreed thinking it was onside. So he said, "We're not changing anything." But
Oh
the call
my
on the field was
gosh.
offside.
Oh, I see this. Oh, that's terrible.
Yes, that is absolutely shocking,
I mean, look,
criminal.
that it I'll distinguish this what happened just from the quick explanation, which it looks like is true. The VAR team incorrectly thought the on-field decision was goal. So they basically didn't understand they incorrectly decide yeah. They didn't understand the on-field decision, and that's just maybe bad communication, error.
It's
That's one
unacceptable
thing.
stuff. They disallowed a goal, which was a goal
No, it's
in the Premier League.
absolutely unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. In fact,
It's
I
disgusting.
think that the Premier League should. Well, it's hard to at this point, but right. They need to follow up on that. They need to fix that. Yes, but what I'm talking about is we've seen at least 2 red cards. I forget who it was in the Liverpool game that went. Who was it that went off? It was like their foot. They had gotten
Curtis
the
Jones.
ball. It was what?
Curtis Jones.
Right. He had gotten the ball, but he had come over the ball a little bit, right?
He
And
rolled over the ball.
he rolled over the ball is the point. And because he rolled over the ball and his studs went onto the other player's foot, it was ruled after a VAR check, after the referee, the center ref himself went to the screen, ruled it a red card. And we saw I would say, and you said it, you had texted me at the time, pretty similar thing with Malo Gusto and his red card. It was the studs did it, but it was if you've watched soccer at all in your life, it seems to me, let me just cut through all of that and just say it seems to me that there is some sort of English referee Football Association FA advisory out because that's what they would do to us as referees, even like from the professional referee to the semi-professional to the academy referees, which is what I was. they would send out an advisory that would basically, it's not a law of the game, right? They're not adding laws, but they're like interpreting. This is like a new interpretation. That's what they would call it, like an advisory. And so they would give us little directives with these advisories, like this, like that thing, that advisory that came out about intent to play the ball and a deflection and the offside and that whole spiel. Like we would get these new interpretation, and it seems to me that there's some sort of interpretation directive given out about those situations. Doesn't matter, like something to the effect of, it doesn't matter if they got a lot of ball and they seem to be even pulling out of the challenge. If the studs come down on the opponent's shin or foot, whatever, it's going to be a red card regardless. And that's why they're just giving it. And if that's the case, then they need to get on the FA about changing that, because unless people are happy with that, because they always say safety is the primary thing, right? And if that's what they need to do, they really don't want players leaving their feet at all in a challenge.
I mean, that's kind of. I mean,
They
if
let
you
them.
watch how the game is played, I mean, like a lot of this stuff, and again, it's just common sense. Like if you, and I get what you're saying, right? If they're issuing these new advisories, and now they're actually refereeing differently than in the past. But it's just, if you've ever played the game or if you've been watching the game, this just is silly. Just common
Yeah.
sense. These aren't red cards.
No, they're not.
It's just, it's a yellow, and some would call it yellow
Orange,
plus,
right? Orange.
right? Yellow plus orange, whatever phrase you
Yeah.
like to use. It's just, you don't send a player off for that, right?
No.
You give them the warning, right? You issue the yellow, right? There's no red card for that, and especially in both these plays, the player gets the ball, or at least a portion of the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what happened?
And not a little bit. They're not like just tapping the ball. It's like they're getting ball. It's a lot of ball.
Like 30 years ago, there's not even a foul.
Yeah.
Like,
no, not.
We're play on. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's happy about this situation. Look, there's always complaints about the referees, and I'm usually the guy getting the complaints because people are like, "Oh, he was a former referee." They love to, like, friends of mine like to grill me about it, and I usually like to kind of defend the referee because oftentimes I find it to be some of the gripes to be a little unfounded, but all of this going on is weird, and I'm not liking the direction so much.
Nobody is, and a lot of people are calling that VAR needs to go. And
Yeah.
that VAR, the guy, the
that's
video
stupid.
assisted referee for the match at Liverpool should be at least suspended for like a long time. And just, it's okay. I'm not saying that he did it like intentionally to
Yeah.
affect the game negatively for Liverpool, but like you need to have some amount of attention to detail at this level, that you're not effing up the entire game because you were like drinking your coffee or something and you just weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Like what on earth was
It
that?
literally could have been that, honestly. Something that
I'm just
silly.
saying,
Yeah.
like that's inexcusable at this level. You're expected to perform at a certain level, right? Like that's absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And like especially on such a big play. Can you imagine if Liverpool goes up a goal and they no longer have to even try to attack, and they can just it just changes the whole game.
Of course it does.
This is a Liverpool team that wants, at the bare minimum, a top 4 spot for Champions League, right? And every point matters. In this current league with Arsenal, City, I mean, United's been a dumpster fire this season, but Tottenham's been playing excellently.
What does that make us, Daniel?
Villa's on the up and up, right? Like there's a lot of contenders for these Champions League spots, and for, even at the end, the own goal, and they end up losing it, but like they could have easily gotten 1 point out of that match, and that point's going to matter in a few months.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unacceptable, and at least the organization admits that it was absolutely, they made the incorrect call. But what does that do for Liverpool?
Yeah. They're not changing it. Yeah, it would be weird to try and intervene.
What can you do?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you can do. I'm not the one to say
a rematch, a replay, as they call it.
Right, but how are you going to do that with the red cards? Like, are you going to just start them with 9? Like,
no.
But like, it's just the whole game was just so stupid in that regard that the referee became the talking point of a freaking of a Tottenham Liverpool game Like, that's so annoying that the referee's the headline on such a high quality match. These are stars of the game, and they don't get to shine because Liverpool is now playing two men down because the referees are and they're a goal down because they have a goal disallowed. It's
Mhm.
and I'm not a fan of Liverpool, right? But just as a fan of the game, you have
Mhm.
to acknowledge that they were absolutely shafted
Yeah.
repeatedly.
And listen, and we also have gripes, that Gusto red card, etc. But
Right. So we have
yeah,
some skin in the game in that regard on the refereeing front. Right.
yeah,
Gusto was absolutely sent off incorrectly in at least our
yeah.
opinion. You know.
It's a next level of negligence, really, when it's the VAR that doesn't. I mean, I'm always. This is with players, with referees, with administrative staff. Like, I accept that we're all humans, that we're all going to make mistakes, and the referee is going to get a decision wrong, and the referee is going to not remember like the actual rule or advisory that they're supposed to in a moment. They might be out of position because they lost focus, because everybody loses focus periodically. Like, it's just how much. And so I'm always in that realm of understanding. But it's so egregious when it's a guy sitting at a desk and it's something as simple as knowing what the on-field decision was. That is like next level mistake. I don't even want to call it a mistake. I want to call it negligence. I want to call it extreme lack of professionalism. And just as you said, I think they really, if they want us to feel good about it, if they want the clubs to feel good about it, suspend the darn referee openly. I don't
Yeah.
care. Suspend the whole freaking team. There's lots of referees, okay? There's lots of referees looking for a shot too. Um, and that, I think, if you're a club that like Liverpool that has major gripes, and the FA comes and says, you know what, this was sheer unprofessionalism. It wasn't just a mistake. It was a lack of professionalism. It was not to the standards that we uh, claim to uphold. And because of those things, we are suspending this guy openly. He messed up big time, and it's a suspension. I wouldn't be.
We'll see if
Yeah,
they
yeah.
hang him out to dry like that.
If
You
you're
know.
Liverpool, yeah, that's the problem. Like, there's if that nepotism is, or whatever you call it, cronyism is a thing. Like, but if you're Liverpool and you see that happen, you're thinking, at least look, they accepted it and they suspended the guy. We're screwed, but at least maybe it'll be better, and they're looking to make things better.
Check that dude's bank account.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's a little much. That is a little much. But yeah, so that's that.
I guarantee that guy got death threats.
Oh, I mean, what referee doesn't get death threats?
No, but for this one in particular, for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
some very,
Oh
very
my
angry, stupid
gosh.
Liverpool supporters that probably issued some questionable things on social media, and
Yeah.
who knows, physical mail. The creepy people these days with all the information available.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I wonder how exposed they are. That's
Doesn't
interesting.
matter. Where there's a
Yeah.
will, there's a way in this
Yeah.
digital era.
Yeah.
With all the information.
Facts. Well, let's hope that let's see who's refereeing our match. Let's see here. Does it say? It should say. Yeah, Tim Robinson. Tim Robinson.
I think I know what that guy
Referee.
looks like. Maybe not.
Yeah. Don't know. Don't know. Don't know him really. I used to really know all the referees. I haven't seen. I guess he officiated his first Premier League match 2019, end of 2019. So relatively a new face in the last 3 years of the game in the Prem. I'm fine with that. I never felt terribly good. I mean, you saw
He's
what
fine.
happened with what's his name? Was the referee? He really was put on blast. The guy used to be a chicken slaughterer. You know what I'm talking about.
Chicken slaughter is not
He used
ringing
to
a
work
bell.
in a chicken slaughterhouse, this guy. Mike Dean.
Oh,
Mike
Mike Dean. Yeah,
Dean,
sure.
yeah. Yeah.
The guy that's getting a lot of heat this week, obviously now
Yeah,
is
well, he's a
Howard
freaking
Webb because
idiot,
he's the head of
honestly.
the association for the professional referees and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Extremely disappointing from him, honestly. Extremely disappointing.
I don't think this Tim Robinson guy is at a level of hatred that Lahoche or whatever his name is, the Spanish referee that everyone hates so much that finally retired.
Yeah.
If you know
Is
who
it
I'm talking
Lahoche?
about,
Yeah.
he was like balding. Yeah,
Oops.
I don't know how to spell his name. It's
Yeah. Whatever. I'm not doing that
That's
right. Okay. Whatever.
I don't know. But you
Yeah.
know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, vaguely. The
People
bald, he's
really,
like partially, it's like
yeah.
whatever.
He's like balding, but
Balding, yeah, but like a little bit on the sides and on top.
yeah.
Um,
I liked him. I don't know why everyone hates him. I'm
yeah, I
sure if
like
I
him
were to
too,
look at like
actually.
his like his blooper highlights, I'm sure there's like tons of terrible calls.
Yeah.
Well, everyone said that he always liked to be the center of attention, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, right.
so whatever.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's all well and good. Let's move on, eh? Let's finally. I think actually, from where we started and where I am now, I'm actually more nervous about this game as a Chelsea supporter.
I wouldn't be.
Am I going to be the one?
I feel like we have more energy. I mean, they have Robinson on the wing, and that left side with Robinson and Willian is tricky. But I just feel like our team brings more energy, especially with Mudryk. And if Cole Palmer's, I just feel good about it. I have a feeling. I don't feel bad like the other game. I just have a good feeling. You know,
Okay.
can't describe it. Just Fulham sucks. I just feel good about it.
So 1-0 victory. What's your?
Yes,
Give me.
on a
Let's
penalty.
let's give our official predictions and
Yes,
call it
1-0.
a podcast.
Sterling wins the penalty, and who even takes penalties for us anymore? Enzo botched the last one, but does he get another one? I don't. Who's to say?
It's gonna
Without
be Enzo probably.
It's gonna be Enzo this time. He'll. That now I don't feel so good. You talked me into not feeling so good about the
I
penalty.
mean, it's scary. We look at that form, for God's sake. I mean, our form is nothing to behold.
Hey, there's 2 green spots on there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, both cup matches and and it's Wimbledon, and we only scored one against Brighton,
Yeah.
and that was a really
Now you're
boring
playing
crap game.
it's Wimbledon card. When that win happened, you were like so
I was like,
stoked.
yeah.
You're like, oh, what a great win against Wimbledon. They're a great side.
Oh, come off.
We're gonna win the league.
Oh, come off it. But I was hopeful that we could win that cup. I still hope we can win that cup. I
The
think
cup's
any
meaningless. It's
trophy.
so-
Oh, to you, I'll take
Chelsea.
anything that I can brag about.
We're
and
not
pretend.
Villarreal. Like this is Chelsea.
All right,
like-
Daniel.
Have some standard. This isn't some second league squad here. Like
Yeah.
we're Chelsea. We just spent
Yeah.
$1 billion. We don't care about the League Cup. City bowed out of the League Cup, and Pep was like, "Ha, we don't care. We just want the treble. We don't care about 4. We just want a 3. 3 is good enough for us." Like he does not care about the League Cup, and that's the standard we should be holding ourselves to, right? We want to be competing with Manchester City at the end of the day, and if that's the level that they're at, that's the level we want to be at.
Oh yeah, absolutely we do, but we just ain't there whatsoever. But so, all right. Well, give us the official prediction then. Let's go.
All right. You ready? Tired legs. 67th minute penalty. Sterling 1-0. Enzo scores the penalty.
Tired legs. Okay, fine. Not bad, Daniel. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. That's pretty good, actually. That could totally happen. Okay, so my prediction for the lineup is consummate with the prediction they had for the lineup.
I mean, they're basically forcing our hand at this point, right? There's so few options.
Yeah, I just think I wonder. I keep wondering when that game Mudryk when that game for Mudryk is gonna happen. Do I think it's this game? No, I don't think it's this game. I think if we win this game, it's from not a made goal, like you said. Maybe it's a penalty. It's not from a really made built goal. And so it's either going to be a penalty or it'll be like a moment of brilliance. I think that Sterling's gonna have a rough time
Really?
if he's up top. I think he's gonna have a rough time. I really
I feel
do.
really bad for Tim Ream and Issa Diop. Like, those guys are not quick, and Sterling
No.
is over 10 yards. Sterling is a menace.
Yeah, absolutely. Over. I mean, even I would even go a little more specific and say over like 5 yards.
Yeah,
Over
absolutely. He's
5
gonna get a
yards,
step.
it's insane. Like stop and go. He just stands people up. I mean, he stands defenders up. So I think, yeah, it'll probably maybe Gallagher will get a golazo.
That is so optimistic. I
Yeah.
can't even. I don't know what to say about that. But
I'm
okay,
gonna go. Okay,
it's
so
a
I'll go
prediction.
2-0 Chelsea. I'll go 2-0 Chelsea.
That's the point of it, right? You just get to play it out in your mind and
Yeah.
go through what you think is
Yeah, like
possible. And
what could possibly happen that you're just gonna be like, yeah, I saw that. But only the good ones, because I see a lot of bad possibilities. I see a lot of really bad possibilities. If I wasn't a Chelsea supporter, I might actually go with a Fulham win here. I think even though Jimenez hasn't scored yet, I think he's gonna come. It's the big game. Chelsea's not doing great. He's got Willian, Pereira, Reed. I mean, he's got a lot. I just looking
those
at
guys aren't good, man.
It's quality. It's quality. All right, so 2-0 Chelsea. Conor Gallagher with a golazo, and maybe I'm wrong about Sterling. Maybe he gets one, or maybe Mudryk has his breakout thing.
I'm waiting for it just like you are, man.
Yeah. There's just not been a lot from him. Just not. I haven't seen enough. I don't know. But okay, so that's that. I think not a bad one. I think I'm still excited, even though I'm on edge.
I'll definitely be sneaking it on at my desk tomorrow for
This
sure.
is live, Daniel.
That's all right. If my boss is listening, you're a super cool boss, and it's been a pleasure to work with you so far. So, yes,
So
I will have the game on at my desk. Sue me.
Okay. Oh, that was good. All right. Fair enough. Fair play. I don't think at this point he must know you're a star, and he'll want to stick with you. So.
My boss is a lady boss, but she's kick ass. So.
All right. Cool. All right. Now he's trying to butter her up just for the camera. All right. Well, I think that was awesome. It was a pleasure having you here today, Daniel. I think we should do many more of these and many other things, watch-alongs, other fun content on this channel. And who knows, maybe people will come by and give us some recommendations. Maybe they'll tell us what they want to see. And Daniel, I'm sure you'll be a big part of it. But until then, I wish everybody a wonderful end of the weekend. And I hope that you live football and prosper. Come back for reading between the headlines. Like, subscribe, all those things. Again, live football and prosper. See you guys next time. Soccer? But it's really called football. Soccer? The creators called it football. Soccer? You play it with your feet. Reading between the headlines.